Alright guys, YFZ is as far apart as we need it for now. A couple little things we still got to pop off that I probably should have done already, but we can do it in like 2 seconds. Oh no, I forgot I put this one on. As you can see down here, see how this one's a big flathead? This is usually a flathead as well. They've switched this one out with a, I think that's an 06 Plus. And they always get stripped. The 06 Plus stuff is actual aluminum, I believe, whereas the 0405s and maybe even 07 Plus, I can't remember. 0405 stuff's plastic, and that's usually what happens. So we'll look, see if we have a set of our own that are in a little bit better shape, and see if he wants them. But anyways, I'll show you kind of how I do it. Granted, I do have a lot of parts here, but I know what everything goes to. I'm the only one out here working 9 times out of 10, and if there is somebody else here they're working on the same job I am, so it's easy to keep stuff kind of organized, so that's not too big a deal. Right now, sorry, I'm doing a bunch of stuff right now. Just kind of have my tools laid out, all my tools that I've been using, sockets, you know, everything. Back here is the Honda Foreman stuff. All this from about this blue cup back, or basically the head back, is all Foreman stuff. You know, it's a bunch of bolts, but we know where they go. YFZ plastic bolts I put in the sack because I'm out of these little spray top caps. And then I just start laying stuff out, you know, nice and neat, so I can come back and clean it all up. You don't wipe everything down, get the gunk off stuff, you know, make sure it's all clean. We do have cars and cameras going. This is their Rocky Mountain Adventure. If you guys are into like pit bikes, go-karts, stuff like that, they're awesome. They build a lot of cool stuff. Really smart. Ike and I can't remember the other guy's name now. Cameron maybe. But anyways, really cool stuff to watch. So here we are with this thing. I'm gonna pop this other timing cover out real fast. And it's gonna be fun to do one-handed. You always hear YouTube guys talking about, oh, doing that one-handed, it's not easy, blah 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 blah, and it's proving that way, because hell, I don't even know what I did with my homemade special tool. Oh no. Bingo. 14 head, 3 14 nuts. It's awfully chewed up, but the head is what I use to like insert into a machine, and then I turn on the other end, so it'll work fine for this. G14 socket. It barely wants to fit on there now. That's great. All right. Hold on just a minute here. Let's get a ratchet. So you guys, let's do this. It's gonna be fun. Right in here. Ooh, it's nice and worn out. I might have to see if we got another one of these too. There we go. She broke free. See, the aluminum on aluminum, it's always fun. I like to put a little bit of anti-seize on these. Just a touch, it doesn't need a ton. But you can see how this one's already getting pretty chewed up. And that's most likely, I don't know, not using the right tool. They don't have a socket set. You know, I think I told him the same thing because he had a bunch of 14 mil bolts. So anyways, we'll lay this over here with the rest of our parts. So we can wipe it down, clean it up. And then we'll get the rest of our tools. Now to turn the cranks over in these, you need a 17 millimeter. You pop out both those covers. Get you a 17. You always want to turn the motor over the direction the tires spin going forward. So in this case, we're going to turn this motor over counterclockwise. Some are different, I suppose, depending on what you're working on. But I think Hondas, you turn them over from the right side of the motor, so you would turn it clockwise instead of counterclockwise. But whatever. So pretty much the same shit all the way around. Excuse my language. Now this bike goes to the sand a lot. Like I told you, always at the sand. Look at all the sand everywhere. It's terrible. So before I pop anything off, I like to wipe everything down, get it away from, so it's not going to fall into the motor when you bump something while the motor's still covered. Oh, there went a valve cover bolt. That'll be fun. Sorry, I'm not filming and wiping. Blah, 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 blah. Okay, I like to take my valve cover bolts and my valve cover, and then this is my new catch-all motor part, top-end motor parts. Throw everything you take off in there because it only goes one place. Found our bolt we dropped. Bingo, throw it in there. It's good to go. Alright. Now, to make this easy, pull your spark plug out. Nobody ever pulls their spark plug out and motor won't turn over, won't stay on top dead center. Pull the dang spark plug out. Makes it 10 times easier. There's no compression at that point. So at that point, you get your 17 mil, put it on your crankshaft, and now you're going to rotate this motor over. And what we're looking for is for the intake valves to open and close. And by close, I mean you just free spun, just enough to push the cam on around. Now at that point, you can watch your piston come up, you can stare at your flywheel and look for your mark. You can do a whole bunch of other stuff. But as long as it's in time, all you gotta do is really look for the timing marks. But I do like to do the screwdriver check. Just set it in there lightly. Do not push it in, do not force it in, just barely set it in there and make sure it's straight up and down as possible. Now these 450 motors isn't such a big deal, but on any motor that's got a heavy rake, you want to make sure you keep an eye on that screwdriver because it can get bound up in there. On these things, I've never had a problem. I turn them over slow enough that it doesn't matter. So I just watch that thing come up. We're almost at the top of the stroke. See it spinning? Okay, we're at the top of our stroke. Now we're going to look for our timing marks. Oh, bam, there they are. There they are. One dot. It's really hard to see on the cam. There's a dot there. You line them up flush. You look in the sight window, and we're dead on our timing mark. We're good to go.